everybody. Welcome back to Game Changers here on the LHSAA Network. We are joined today first by Maurice Ducarpe, head coach of Country Day Cross Country. Coach, the back-to-back well, not back-to-back, but girls and boys are defending champs heading into this year. Talk to me how the season's been so far and the excitement around cross country at Country Day.
The season's really started off well, even starting during our summer training. Our kids were really committed to what we were doing. We took a trip up to North Carolina for a summer running camp. That was really fun, getting to talk with the North Carolina State University coaches. They talked with all of our kids and looked at their running form and kind of motivated them, since they're such a prestigious program at the collegiate level. We got to run in the mountains up there and get to experience something a little different for them. But really, they've been kind of locked in since we got back and training and pushing real hard.
Walk me through the seven on both sides, or some of the key runners so far for you this season on both sides.
All right, so on the boys' side, we got John William, we got Colin, we got Mason, Carson, and typically in the past, our boys have actually won the last four of the last 5 state championships, but we've kind of been led by a few 2 or 3 really top individuals, and kind of our 4 or 5 made it for us, but they weren't in that top 16, 15 range for us. But this year, it's almost across the board. They're all the same type of runners, from 1 all the way almost to 6 or 7. So it's really fun watching them get to compete with each other, and we'll see a bunch of them be our 1 or 2, and it's just going to change up throughout the whole year. And actually, our number 1 has been out this whole year. His name's Robert, with some shin splint stuff, but he should be back in the next race or 2. He's been doing some pool stuff, so he should be back and ready to go soon. And so that's changed some things for us. On the girls' side, I mean, the fun that I get to see in practice with just the top 4 to 6, we're so deep at such a small school. It's really fun to watch. I mean, we got Varenka, who came in. She's running a 17:58. She's never had a cross country season before. And Coco Alvarado running a 20:22. She was the number 1 8th grader in the whole state for the 800 last year. She ran a 2:16 in New York with us in the 800. So, I mean, I'm blown away by her competitiveness, and I think the other girls feed off of them. We got Renee, who just set a PR. Camille's, waiting to set a PR. Just watching them in practice. Lily, B, I mean, so many of them are just pushing each other. I mean, our top 7 right now might not be our top 7 in the state because we're so deep.
You talk about how deep the roster is. How important is that to help win state championships? When it comes time for state win, hey, you might not have your best race if you're the 1 or the 2, but guess what? Our 4 and 5 brought up the rear and picked up like 5-6 positions right there at the finish and pretty much won us a state championship, right?
Right, and we've seen that before. Like in 2019, I said our boys won the last 4 or 5 state championships. It would have been 5 of 6. We lost by 1 point to Cedar Creek, and that's because our 5 just didn't have a great race that day, and we weren't deep. And so kind of getting to touch on things like that, then you look at maybe 2021 where our 5 was our 3, and that's what won us the state championship that year. And getting to reflect back on those years kind of helps them truly understand, oh, I might be a 6 or 7, but I could be our 3, or I could be putting a point in front of their 5, even if I am a 6. And on the boys' side, we could be 4th, we could be 1st or 5th. I mean, everyone is so close on the boys' side. The girls are up pretty high, but I mean, all of them want to be in the top 7. So they're all pushing each other and competing hard.
There's a lot of people, when they think of cross country, they just think, oh, they go out, they run, and the winners as an individual award. But when you really look at it, there's so much strategy and competitiveness amongst not just your team, but against the people they're racing against too. And I know as a coach, you're normally out there kind of trying to provide some kind of, hey, we got to go get those shirts in front of us. Like, as a coach, when you get to watch these kids race and you get to try to see them go chase down shirts, how exhilarating is it?
It's great. And I'll tell you a funny story. So I think it was 2 years ago. There's a team. It was a charter school. I'm blanking on the name, but they were a very, very good team, and our boys were competing against them, and it was a really close race. and we ended up winning the state championship. But we made a fake newspaper article about how that charter school was talking about our school, and they were saying that they were going to beat us, and we plastered it all over the bus. Just we wanted to create that competitive atmosphere. We wanted to create that billboard material to push them, and I really feel like it helped. I mean, they pushed themselves, and it wasn't all the newspaper article, but just being able to do fun things like that with high schoolers to kind of push them, and now they still talk about it. They're like, "Are you going to do a fake newspaper article this year?" So it's just fun.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you joining us here on Game Changers on the LHSAA Network. Don't go anywhere. We've got more coming up after this.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
So it's going to come down to this.
Can they do it?
Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute. There's a flag on the play!
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
The LHSAA Network TV app features a 24/7 live channel as well as on-demand content with all the high school sports you want, and it's totally free. The app is available for download on TV-connected devices, including Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. It's the only place where every day is game day. Download the LHSAA Network TV app today.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Game Changers here on the LHSAA Network. Spencer Verret joining you now with St. Michael's volleyball head coach Latashia Wise-Jackson. The Warriors just picked up a big win over previously unbeaten University Lab. And, Coach, it's your first year with the program and been a lot of success so far. So how's it been this year?
It's been unbelievably energetic. That's a good way to describe it. But so far, it's been a fun season. You said my first year here at St. Michael. St. Michael volleyball team is a well-seasoned volleyball program that I inherited. Coach Rob Smith, who has been a long-time coach here at St. Michael, who's also our athletic director. Like I said, a very seasoned volleyball squad with that senior heavy and just hardworking young women that just love the game of volleyball and just want to compete day in and day out.
Talk to me a little bit about that win over U-High just a couple nights ago at the time of this airing. How huge that was to take down not necessarily a rival in town, but a fellow team in town that's having a good year.
It was an amazing match, and it's the type of match that you want to be a part of, especially with the end of the season approaching. U-High, a very good volleyball team, ranked number 1 in Division III volleyball. We came in and we were number 2. So the stage is set, right? Very good volleyball. What I was mostly excited about is the outcome of the game, obviously, but the environment. it was electric. We had High brought a lot of fans. St. Michael always, the Warrior family always do a really good job supporting our student athletes, and it's a good environment to be a part of here in Baton Rouge. Good volleyball right here in Baton Rouge community.
Talk to me about some of the game changers, per se, that have been a part of your squad this year. You said very senior heavy, but walk me through the team.
Yeah, well, for starters, obviously, like the quarterback of our team, our setter, Marielle Gary, who's been a part of this volleyball program for a while now. She does a really good job of distributing the ball and running our offense. We are on the outside pin, we have Bella Bravata, who is a commit of Southeastern Beach Volleyball. She does a really good job for us, not only in a front row, but she also plays defense for us, and she does a really good job at that as well. Our other outside, also a Bella LeBlanc, and she's a 6 rotation player as well. She does a good job for us consistently as well. So with that being said, our team, like I said, is very seasoned, but we also have a little other spices from some juniors that has stepped up. Junior Skylar Towner, who has committed to Louisiana Tech on a volleyball scholarship. She plays middle for us, and she's dynamic. And our defense is solid. Our defense is pretty solid. Our libero, who was out for the U-High game because she was sick, but we had a junior who stepped in, Camille Kitchen, who did a really good job for us as well. So, our gumbo is, speaking from Southern Louisiana, our gumbo pot, we got a lot of stuff in it, and it's just been fun. It's been fun to come in with them and get in the gym with them every day, and they just work hard. They really do. They're good volleyball players. Most of them play club volleyball on the club scene. And they really are good at their craft. They're good at their craft, and I'm excited to see what the end of the season is going to hold for them.
You mentioned the end of the season. We're into, I believe, the final month of regular season volleyball. What you're kind of hoping to see from the squad is, we talk with coaches before the season and kind of in that early part of what they're hoping to see in the early part of the season. What does that change at all when you're getting later in the season? You want to see more out of them, probably?
It changes. It changes like the weather. I always say, this is my 15th year coaching, and I always say this morning I woke up, it was 69 degrees outside, and when you feel that crisp in the air, that it's time for the playoffs. And so with the weather changing, so does everything else. You require a little bit more from them, but also just incorporating, taking from that first part of your season, which you have already instilled in them, and being confident in the fact that they can bring that to the next part of your season. And I break it down, you have your preseason, and then now we're in the meat of it, about to enter into district pretty soon. And then hopefully we change into the playoff, the third part of the season, and take all of that with us. But, I just keep telling them every match, you got to keep turning the page. Keep turning the page, and keep your eye on in front of you and not behind you, and keep your eye on the next opponent.
Well, Coach, we thank you so much for joining us here on Game Changers on the LHSAA Network. Don't go anywhere. We've got more for you after this break.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
The start of school means the start of new sports seasons, which unfortunately can mean injuries. Too often, sports injuries are treated with opioids, leading to addiction among our youth. And drug addictions can cause overdoses and deaths. If you're injured, ask your doctor for medicines and therapies that don't use opioids. And if you're struggling with opioid addiction, we can offer treatment. Opioid addiction is a losing game. You can help. Learn more at realhelpvr.com. That's realhelpvr.com.
For over 100 years, our families have gathered together to share with each other our challenges and hopes, to take this light we've been gifted and paint a brighter future for the next generation. The seeds we plant today are the bounty we harvest tomorrow. As farmers, we know that together we're stronger than we could ever be apart. We're the Louisiana Farm Bureau, and we're the voice of Louisiana agriculture.
If you want to break the rock, you need to make yourself indestructible. If you want to play between the hedges, you need to work out there, up there, down there, everywhere. If you want to reach the win bar, you need to lose sleep, lose count. You need to play every game like you got nothing to lose.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Game Changers here on the LHSAA Network. Spencer Verret joining you now with Abbeville Offensive Coordinator Coach Donald Fusilier, otherwise known as Coach Fuse. Coach, the Wildcats picked up their first win of the season last night. It was a game that came right down to the wire. You were there to experience it all. Talk to me about that win and what it felt like.
Man, it felt really good. It was a team victory. We were nursing under 5 minutes. We were nursing a 8-point lead. The Glowers come down, tie the game, scoring a touchdown and getting a 2-point conversion. We get the ball back with 3 minutes remaining, and then we run the ball a couple of times, and we throw a quick screen, and then we go to the house for 50 plus yards, and then had to have a goal line stand on 4th down. We got a sack by 2027 athlete Chasing Gray to seal the victory. We got that Montreal vibe back of losing 15 games in a game.
You know, you kind of mentioned a little bit of some of the guys that might have helped. You're all about the offense, though. Who stood out to you on offense on the night? Who you want to call your game changer for that game?
Cam Samuels, senior wide receiver, number 0. Cam finished the game with 3 touchdowns and over 100 and something yards. Xavier Mays, my quarterback, had a really good game. He didn't manage the game really well. And Justin Montgomery, our running back, had over 120 plus rushing yards for us last night.
You're at Abbeville now, but you've been around the sort of the southern area of the state and even out of the state as well on your coaching career. But you played at Westgate. You were part of the first graduating class from that school. But what's your journey been like? Has it been a journey? I mean, I know it probably hasn't been easy, but going around to all these different places, you learn a lot about yourself. What's it been like going on that journey?
Adversity, perseverance. It started out as a player after I finished my senior year. My senior season at Lindenwood University, I started playing arena ball, so I did that for like 5 years, and then off and on while I was playing, I started my high school coaching career in 2011 at South Plaquemines High School. Did a stint at Westgate in 2014, 2019. I was at Como High School as the wide receivers coach. Trey Harris was the quarterback, and Malik Neighbors, our All-American, he was there playing wide receiver. Then I took offensive coordinator job at St. Martinville, and then I was finishing my degree during that time, and after I graduated on May 15, 2021, 10 days later, I got a phone call from Southern University, and I spent some time at Southern as a director of player personnel, went back to high school, and then the last 2 years I was at Graceland University before landing at Abbeville High School in February. I actually got the week I got I got to Abbeville. I actually got a call from Mississippi State, but I decided to stay at Abbeville.
You know, you've seen so many different areas of the state. You've recruited this state, especially in college. What makes this state of football just different here in Louisiana?
Just diamonds in the rough all over. The kids are hungry, gritty, tough, really good high school programs. I remember Coach Lance Guidry. He's on the staff at LSU, but Coach Guidry always talked about he learned more in Louisiana high school football because you see so many different offenses. So you learn as a coordinator, you learn so many different stuff. So it's just a great state for football. You don't have the same resources as some other guys. So I think that helps us.
Especially now here as we kind of are in the main part of the season. You also have a 7-on-7 team that competes in the off season, but you also have a nonprofit as well, Louisiana Athletes Against Violence. Talk a little bit about that and what makes that so special for yourself.
In 1996, in Back Manila Projects in North Iberia, Louisiana, my cousin Donald Fusilier was murdered. He bled internally. He was 16 years old, and that was one that inspired me. And then a lot of the gun violence we see in our community inspired me to start Louisiana Athletes Against Violence, which is a mentoring program for youth and at-risk youth starting at 7 years old, and that's how I got started.
You kind of talked a little bit about it, but you know when you're mentoring these kids, what's kind of like your conversations with them like?
Kind of sharing experience. They're different, and I think the worst thing to do is compare. It's just a different time. You still can have that old school mentality, but you just have to share experiences with them and show them how to process things and not always react emotionally, because sometimes reacting emotionally can be the difference between life and death. And just make sure that they're making the correct decisions on a daily. They're exposed to more stuff than we were growing up, so it's easy to fall victim to some of those things. So just making sure they do what they're supposed to, because we want to make sure that we making good men and young women in this world.
Well, Coach, we thank you for joining us here on the LHSAA Network for Game Changers. Don't go anywhere. We've got more coming for you after this break.
Protect what matters most to you and find out the many ways you can benefit. 100% free tuition and fees to all state colleges. Job training in over 150 different career fields, healthcare, pay, and much more. The Louisiana Army National Guard, part-time service with lifelong benefits. Find out more by visiting www.lang-recruiting.com.
At Breck Golf Courses, we focus on the highest level of play. That means award-winning courses, state-of-the-art practice facilities, unique shot-making opportunities, and tournament-level playing experiences. With 2 championship courses located in the parish, Beaver Creek and Santa Maria courses make the perfect setting to test your golf skills. Find your next hole-in-one with Breck Golf.
So it's going to come down to this. Can they do it?
Oh no, they missed it! Wait a minute! There's a flag on the play!
When looking for college, I wanted somewhere that would push me and allow me to kind of be the person I'd always wanted to be.
Everyone here kind of has this mindset of seeing the next person succeed, and I think that just creates a Southern Miss spirit.
You find what you need out of Southern Miss. What I need isn't what another student needs, but we all find something here.
You don't have to be what people have said you've been. You don't have to be what people think you are. Coming to Southern Miss, you can totally reinvent yourself and be who you truly feel like you are meant to be.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Game Changers here on the LHSAA Network. Spencer Verret joining you here now for the final segment of this episode 6. Joined now by Byrd volleyball coach Bre Saulsbury. Coach, you just did a road trip down to Houma.
Yes.
Returned home tonight. Talk to me a little bit, though, about the season as a whole. A lot of wins on the schedule, and it looks like it's been a very successful season so far for your program.
Yeah, we've had a really great season so far. I really actually just texted the girls and was like, hey, do you realize you've only lost to people that were at state championships last year or they were in the semis? And so just trying to keep the progress moving and growing and not get stagnant. But we had a goal going into this year, and it was to just make it to the dome, make it further than last year's team did. And now, as we've gotten further in the season and had more success, the girls are like, hey, we want to win. We want to win the championship. And so now it's to push them that little extra mile and get them to the end.
You talk about the dome, and a lot of people, they hear the dome and they all think, oh, football, the Super Dome. There's the Cajun Dome, too, and a lot of volleyball teams are gunning for that. We're in the final week of the regular season, or the final month of the regular season.
Yes.
But it's kind of like it holds that same vaunted kind of name, the Dome. Talk a little bit about like the what makes it so special playing there.
I think for us, it's kind of making a name for North Louisiana volleyball. You know, we haven't had many teams that have made it that far. We've had Calvary and Ruston has been lucky enough to go, but North Louisiana has just been slowly making its way in. And so making a statement and showing that we're just as strong and just as dedicated and just as capable of everybody else. And we want the same goals and we're able to accomplish them. And, it's just as special as football. You are on the road, you get to travel, your team and we call it the Hive, our student section gets to come with us and cheer us on. And so just having that feeling, just the same as every other sport.
Talk a little bit about some of the game changers within your team this year. Who stood out to you so far?
Well, we're a team full of 6 seniors. And we have 2 really great outsides. We have Lola Overdyke and Avery Young. They've done a great job. And really all these seniors have told them they're a product of how great our program has become. They started as freshmen and some of them got a little time as freshmen and some on varsity level and some of them stayed at the freshman level, and they've all just been really dedicated and put in the work, and they're there at the early morning lifts and they're there for the conditioning and the hard practices at school. It said those 2 are big standouts. And then we've had a slight change in our lineup this year. We have a senior middle who's moved to setting, and we have a senior setter who's moved to hitting. And so that's made a big difference for us. And just seeing those girls step up and accept the challenge and, lead on with this sense of this is what we need to do for the team. So we're going to do it, and we're happy to do it.
You just got back from a tournament in Houma. And you kind of mentioned it. You're trying to put North Louisiana volleyball on the map. But I feel like to do that, you got to come down here a little bit more than they have to come up to you. Kind of those road trips, though, when I played high school sports, that was the most fun we had, was taking those long road trips to go somewhere else. But I mean, when you come down here to play those teams, is that kind of what you hope you leave with them you leave the other opposition with, is, hey, we're North Louisiana, we can play some volleyball?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a rough travel schedule for us because, we have our teams up here and we compete with them, but we don't really see the level of play we need to all of the time if we're going to make it to the next level. And so we've gone to Lafayette, we've gone to Houma, and we go to Belle Chase in a few weeks. And that's really rough on the kids and on their school schedule. But when we go down there, our goal is to go down there and win games and make a statement. And they're doing a really great job of having fun and, taking advantage of the travel time, but going into the gym and doing what they need to be doing.
Kind of the special thing in Shreveport is the Byrd Captain Shreve rivalry. That's a rivalry that a lot of people hear about. Does it transcend football, and does it kind of sparkle into volleyball and baseball and softball?
It is every time a Shreve and a Byrd game happens, there is a rivalry happening. Last year it actually ended up on homecoming week, and it ended up on Byrd Shreve week, which is a big deal for football, and we have a lot of fun throughout the city with that. And so to add in the volleyball game was even more fun. This year our football game ends up after season, but when we're in the gym, we try and make everything a big game. And, I'll say outside of Byrd Shreve, our biggest rivalry with volleyball is Calvary. And we were able to finally beat them. We beat their 3-year home winning streak last week in 3 sets to 1. And so that was a big game changer for our season, is just taking away that. And I think it's pushing us on.
Last question I have for you, Coach, is just kind of what you're expecting to see as we head into this last month of the season.
Keep growing. Trying to tell them we can't get stagnant. We can't get complacent. Everybody is at this point in the season that they're still learning, and they're starting to get settled in and know what they're going to do to go on to the next level. And, I heard somebody say the other day, the wins don't matter this weekend. They matter that weekend in November. And keeping them in the mindset that as long as we're growing and we're pushing and we're moving, we can continue to make progress and make history. And, this group of seniors, that's what they've done the past 3 years. And so I want them to go out with a bang.
Well, Coach, we thank you for joining us here on Game Changers. We thank all of you for watching episode 6 of Game Changers here on the LHSAA Network. Spencer Verret signing off.